I'd been dreading Ryan's birthday party all week. Not because of the noise or the food, or the way the house always felt too small when it was packed with people. No, I dreaded it because Damien would be there. Ryan's best friend. His shadow. His favorite person. And the one I couldn't seem to stay away from. The living room was loud with laughter, the smell of pizza and chips heavy in the air. Ryan was in his element, talking too loud, telling stories, making everyone laugh. I sat on the edge of the couch, pretending to scroll my phone, but really just trying to ignore the fact that Damien was across the room, leaning back in the chair like he owned it, watching me when he thought no one else noticed. Or maybe he didn't care if anyone noticed. Maybe that was worse. Every time our eyes met, something twisted in my stomach. Something I wasn't supposed to feel. Not for him. Not for my brother's best friend. The kitchen became my escape. I slipped away when no one was paying attention, grabbing a drink from the fridge just to have something to do. I leaned against the counter, sipping slowly, trying to breathe. But I wasn't alone for long. The door creaked open, and there he was. Damien. Tall, broad-shouldered, his dark hair falling perfectly into place. He smirked when he saw me, like he knew exactly why I'd run here. "Thought you were hiding," he said. I swallowed hard. "Just getting a drink." He walked closer, casual, but every step felt heavy. "You've been avoiding me all night." I tried to laugh, but it sounded thin. "You're imagining things." "Am I?" He stopped in front of me, close enough that the air between us thickened. His gray eyes locked on mine, sharp and unreadable. "Then look at me, Noah. Right now. Tell me you don't feel it." My throat closed up. I should have said something. I should have shoved him away, walked out, called him crazy. But I didn't. Because I did feel it. The pull, the heat, the terrible wanting that had been growing for years. And before I could stop myself, my body betrayed me. I leaned in and kissed him. It was quick, clumsy, desperate. Our lips barely brushed, but it was enough to light fire in my veins. I pulled back immediately, horror crashing down on me. "Oh my God," I whispered. I shouldn't. Damien's smirk spread, slow and satisfied. Finally, my face burned. I backed up, shaking my head. No, that was a mistake. Forget it. But Damien didn't look like he planned on forgetting anything. And then, "What's going on?" Ryan's voice. I nearly jumped out of my skin. My brother stood in the doorway, frowning, eyes darting between us. Panic surged through me. "And nothing." I blurted out too fast. Ryan raised a brow. "It looked like." "It wasn't." My voice cracked. I shoved past them both, forcing a laugh that sounded fake even to me. "I just, dropped something. That's all." Ryan's frown deepened, suspicion flickering in his eyes. But before he could push further, Damien stepped in smoothly. "Relax, man," he said, his tone casual. "Your brother's jumpy, that's all." Ryan stared a moment longer, then shrugged and left, muttering something about the game starting again. The silence he left behind was suffocating. I gripped the counter with shaking hands, refusing to look at Damien. "If he finds out." "He won't." Damien's voice was steady, confident. Too confident. "Not unless you tell him." I finally looked up. He was watching me with that same smirk, but his eyes were burning. "You kissed me," he said softly, almost like a promise. "And now you belong to me." My heart stuttered. I wanted to deny it, to tell him he was crazy. But the truth was written all over my face, all over the heat still tingling on my lips. And that terrified me more than Ryan ever could. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't sleep. I replayed it over and over. The way Damien had looked at me, the way he'd claimed me without hesitation. The way Ryan's suspicious eyes had burned into me, like he already knew something wasn't right. I buried my face in my pillow, groaning. It was just a kiss. It doesn't mean anything. But deep down, I knew I was lying. Because if it didn't mean anything, why did I want to do it again? The morning after the kiss, I told myself it would be fine. Damien would laugh it off. He'd make some joke, tease me a little, then forget it ever happened. He'd never risk Ryan finding out. That was what I thought. But when I walked into the kitchen, still bleary-eyed, Damien was already there. Waiting for me. He sat at the table, coffee mug in hand, smirk firmly in place. Morning, sunshine. My heart lurched. I froze in the doorway. "What are you doing here?" "Ryan's still asleep." "Exactly." He sipped casual, like he had every right to be in my kitchen at 7 a.m. "Gives me time alone with you." I gripped the edge of the counter, trying to look calm. "Don't start." "I'm not starting anything." He stood, slow and deliberate. You did. The memory of last night's kiss hit me like a punch. My face heated. That was a mistake. He stepped closer, and suddenly he was too close, towering over me, his presence filling the whole room. His eyes gleamed. Didn't feel like one. I backed into the counter, breath catching. You're insane. Maybe. He braced one hand on the counter beside me, boxing me in. His voice dropped low, rough. But you kissed me. You crossed the line. And now you belong to me. My chest tightened. The words wrapped around me, suffocating, terrifying. And yet a part of me thrilled at them. Before I could speak, footsteps thudded on the stairs. Ryan. Damien leaned down, lips brushing the shell of my ear. Saved by the brother, he whispered, before pulling back, all smooth composure. By the time Ryan walked in, Damien was sitting casually again, coffee in hand. Like nothing had happened. But everything had changed. Damien didn't leave it alone. At school, I'd catch him waiting by the gates, arms crossed, eyes locked on me. At the bookstore, he'd appear in the next aisle, close enough that his arm brushed mine when he reached for a book. At dinner, he sat across from me, staring. Not subtle glances, long, heavy stares that pinned me in place. Ryan noticed none of it. Dude, you've been around a lot lately, Ryan said one night. Guess I like the company, Damien answered smoothly. I nearly choked on my drink. I kept my head down, hoping Ryan wouldn't notice how red my face was. The worst was at night. When the house was quiet, Ryan asleep upstairs, I'd lie in bed wide awake, listening. Waiting. Sometimes I swore I heard the floor creak outside my room, like Damien was there. Watching. And one night I was right. I'd gone down for water, hoping the cool air would calm me. The kitchen light glowed softly, the fridge humming. And there he was, leaning against the counter like he owned it. Like he'd been waiting. I froze. What are you doing here? He smirked. Couldn't sleep. He tilted his head. Maybe I was waiting for you. My throat went dry. You need to stop. Ryan almost caught us. Almost, Damien echoed, stepping closer. But he didn't. This isn't a game, I whispered. If he finds out, then let him. His voice was sharp, final. He closed the distance, his heat overwhelming. You think I care what Ryan says? You think I haven't been waiting for this for years? My breath stuttered. Why years? His hand lifted, brushing my jaw, tilting my face up. His touch was gentle, almost tender, but his eyes were fierce. I've wanted you since the first time I saw you, Noah. And now that I've had a taste, his thumb grazed my lower lip. I'm not letting go. The room tilted. My instincts screamed at me to run, but I couldn't move. His words clung to me, too heavy, too intoxicating. Damien, my voice cracked. He leaned closer, lips brushing my ear. Tell me to stop. Mean it. And I will. I swallowed hard, chest heaving. I opened my mouth. No words came. And then he kissed me. It wasn't like last night's clumsy mistake. This was deliberate. Slow. Claiming. His hand cupped the back of my neck, holding me steady as his lips moved against mine, coaxing, teasing, consuming. I gasped, the glass in my hand clinking against the counter as I gripped it too tightly. My hands pushed weakly at his chest, but instead of shoving him away, my fingers curled into his shirt. He deepened the kiss, his tongue brushing mine, and a shaky sound escaped me, soft, helpless. When we finally broke apart, I was breathless, dizzy, lips tingling. Damien rested his forehead against mine, voice low and husky. See, you can deny it all you want, but your body doesn't lie. I forced myself to step back, though my knees trembled. This can't happen. Not again. He only smirked, softer this time. More dangerous. It already did. The next morning at breakfast, I sat stiffly, barely touching my food. Ryan chatted about some assignment, oblivious. Damien sat across from me, eating toast like nothing had happened. Every now and then he looked up, and every time he did, my stomach flipped. I chewed the inside of my cheek, staring at my untouched plate, because I knew he was right. I hadn't stopped him. I didn't want to, and that scared me more than anything else. Lying became second nature. I'm fine. I'm just tired. I'm going to study. Every excuse rolled off my tongue like I'd rehearsed them for years. The truth was simpler, uglier. I was hiding. Hiding from Damien, from Ryan, from myself. But no matter how hard I tried, Damien always found me. It started with little things. His hand brushing mine under the table, lingering too long. His voice low against my ear when Ryan's back was turned, words only I could hear. Stares across crowded rooms that made my skin burn. Every time I told him no. Every time, my body betrayed me. And he knew it. The diner was Ryan's idea. "Come on, let's get food," he'd said, dragging me and Damien along like he always did. We squeezed into a booth, Ryan talking about his classes while I pushed fries around my plate. Damien sat beside me instead of across. His thigh pressed against mine. Heavy. Intentional. I shifted, trying to make space. He didn't move. Then I heard it. "No." Daniel Hayes, from my English class, grinning as he walked over. "Didn't know you came here." Ryan beamed. "Yeah, sit down, man." Daniel slid in on my other side, all smiles and easy laughter. He leaned close when he talked, like we were sharing secrets. His arm brushed mine. And Damien went still. I could feel it, the way his body tensed beside me, the heat of his stare burning into my cheek. Daniel laughed at something I said and touched my arm. That was when Damien's hand clamped down on my thigh under the table. Hard. I flinched, nearly spilling my drink. My breath caught, and I turned to glare at him. He didn't even look at me. His face was calm, blank, but his grip was bruising. His eyes, though, they were wild. Possessive. Ryan never noticed. Of course he didn't. He was too busy stealing fries off Damien's plate. I sat frozen, trapped between a boy who thought he was being charming and a man who was silently daring me to laugh again. When Daniel finally left, I exhaled, my leg throbbing where Damien had held me. The second we stepped outside, Damien grabbed my wrist and yanked me back. What the hell was that? His voice was low, sharp. I tugged against his grip. What was what? Don't play dumb. He was all over you. He was just talking. My voice shook, equal parts anger and fear. You're overreacting. I don't like it. His jaw was tight, his eyes burning. You don't get a say. The words came out louder than I meant, sharp enough to make Ryan glance over. I forced a laugh, quick and shaky. I mean, stop being dramatic. Ryan shrugged, turning away. Damien leaned close, his breath hot against my ear. You belong to me. Don't make me remind you. I froze. My heart thundered. I don't belong to anyone, I whispered back. But even I didn't believe it. That night, sleep was impossible. My head spun with Damien's glare, with the way his hand had branded my skin, with the dangerous rush of heat that came with it. Finally, I gave up and went downstairs for water. And of course, he was already there. The kitchen light glowed dim. Damien leaned against the counter, like he'd been waiting all night. My chest tightened. Do you ever go home? Why would I? He said smoothly. When what I want is here. I gripped the fridge handle, knuckles white. You need to stop. Ryan's right upstairs. If he finds out, then let him. His voice was sharp, steady. He pushed off the counter, moving toward me. I'm not playing anymore, Noah. I've wanted you too long. You can't keep pretending. My back hit the fridge. I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. Damien's hand rose, cupping my jaw, tilting my face up. His eyes bore into mine. Tell me to stop. Mean it. And I will. My throat worked, but nothing came out. And then his mouth was on mine. It wasn't soft this time. His kiss was fierce, consuming. He pressed me against the fridge, lips insistent, tongue teasing mine until I gasped into him. I tried to push him away, but my hands only curled into his shirt, clinging. My body leaned forward even as my mind screamed no. A groan rumbled from his chest, vibrating against my lips. His hand slid to my waist, pulling me closer, until I was sure he could feel the wild pounding of my heart. I whimpered into his mouth, the sound humiliating, desperate. He kissed me harder. When we finally broke apart, I was panting, lips swollen, body trembling. Damien pressed his forehead against mine, his voice a low growl. You're mine, Noah. No one else gets to touch you. No one else gets to see this side of you. My hands shook where they still clutched his shirt. This is wrong, I whispered. Ryan's upstairs. We can't. Then be quiet, he murmured against my ear. He doesn't have to know. His lips found mine again, slower this time. Lingering. Tender. And I hated how easily I melted. I hated how much I wanted it. By the time I stumbled back to my room, my lips tingled, my body hummed, and my chest ached with guilt. I buried my face in my pillow, whispering to the dark, it has to stop. But deep down, I knew it wouldn't. Because no matter how hard I fought, I'd already given in. Secrets are heavy. They press down on you until every laugh feels fake, every smile feels brittle, and every word tastes like ash in your mouth. That was my life with Damien. Every glance across the room, every brush of his hand against mine, every kiss stolen in the shadows, they all felt like a weight I couldn't carry much longer. And yet, I couldn't stop. The breaking point came on a Friday night. Ryan had invited half the basketball team over to watch a game. The living room was crowded with laughter and noise, the TV blaring, soda cans littering the table. I sat at the edge of the couch, trying to disappear into the background. Damien sat across the room, leaning back in an armchair, but his eyes never left me. Not once. And I felt it. Every second. Then one of Ryan's teammates, Adam, dropped onto the couch beside me. "Hey Noah, right? You in my lit class." I nodded, forcing a polite smile. "Yeah, I remember. We started talking about the professor, the reading list, random class gossip. It was normal. Innocent. But Damien's stare grew heavier. Darker. When Adam laughed at something I said and nudged my shoulder, I swore I heard Damien's jaw crack from across the room. Half an hour later, Ryan called for more chips from the kitchen. I volunteered, eager for an escape. But the second I pushed through the kitchen door, Damien was there. He must have followed me. Before I could speak, he grabbed my wrist and yanked me against the counter. "Damien, what the hell was that?" His voice was low, sharp. "What was what?" I snapped, even though I already knew. "You let him touch you." His eyes blazed. "You laughed with him. You looked at him." My stomach twisted. "Because he's my classmate. Because we were talking. You're acting insane." He leaned down, his face inches from mine, breath hot. "You think I didn't see the way he looked at you? Like you were something he could take." My chest heaved. He wasn't doing anything wrong. "I don't care," Damien growled. His hand slid from my wrist to my jaw, fingers firm, tilting my face up. "You're mine, Noah. Mine. And I'm not sharing you with anyone." I trembled, fury and longing tangling in my veins. "You can't just claim me like I'm property." His gaze softened, but only slightly. "I'm not asking. I'm telling you. Because I know you feel it too." My throat closed. "I don't." His eyes searched mine. Then he kissed me. It wasn't a soft kiss. It was fire, all teeth and hunger, stealing the breath from my lungs. His hand slid to the back of my neck, holding me in place, his body crowding mine until I melted against the counter. I should have pushed him away. Ryan was right in the other room. People could walk in any second. But I kissed him back. I clutched at his shirt, desperate, greedy, lost. His mouth devoured mine, his tongue coaxing soft, broken sounds from my throat that I couldn't stop. When he finally tore away, both of us panting, his forehead pressed to mine. "Say it." I shook my head, dizzy. I can't." "You can." His grip tightened, his voice rough. "Admit it, Noah. Admit you want me. Admit you're mine." Tears burned my eyes, hot and frustrated. "You don't get it. If Ryan finds out, he'll hate me. He'll hate us." Damien's thumb brushed my cheek, startlingly gentle. "Let him hate me. Not you. I'll take it all. Just don't lie to me anymore." My lips trembled. "Damien." "Say it," he whispered, pleading now. "Please." And something inside me cracked. I squeezed my eyes shut, voice breaking. "I want you." The words spilled out raw and helpless. "I've wanted you since that first kiss." I tried to fight it. I tried to pretend. "But you're right, I can't stop." "I don't want to stop." His breath caught. I opened my eyes, meeting his. My chest heaved. "You scare me, Damien. The way you look at me. The way you make me feel. But," my voice softened, barely a whisper, "I think I belong to you." For a moment, he just stared at me, like he couldn't believe I'd actually said it. Then his lips crashed against mine again, fiercer than ever, like he was sealing the confession into my skin. We kissed until my lips were swollen, until I was trembling in his arms, until the sound of Ryan's laughter in the living room jolted me back to reality. I pushed Damien away, chest heaving. "We can't." He cupped my face, eyes burning. "We will. Maybe not in front of him. Not yet. But you're mine, Noah. You finally said it. And I'm never letting you go." I swallowed hard, lips tingling, heart racing. And even as guilt churned in my stomach, I knew he was right. Because no matter how dangerous it was, no matter how wrong it felt, I didn't want him to let go. That night, lying in my bed, I touched my swollen lips and closed my eyes. The secret was still there, heavy and dangerous. But for the first time, it didn't feel like it was crushing me. Because the truth was out. At least between us. And that truth was terrifying. But it was also the only thing that felt real.